Good morning guys, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this video. Hope you're all doing okay. So to follow on from episode 2, if you haven't watched episode 1 or 2, please go ahead and watch those. It will give you a nice introduction to our new character Vazrik, who is our Forge Lance here. Last episode we managed to get to level 60, which has been very good. As you can see, we've managed to get a bit of money. That's just due to stuff selling in the marketplace overnight. And what I'm wanting to do is actually is upgrade my set again, surprisingly, eh? But I want to go down a more normalised route, because we do actually have a nice pet in the Frazzle, so agility pushback. And this character in general definitely does use pushback quite a lot in its set. So using agility and pushback will be really good, especially when we get to 65, which shouldn't take too long. We can get Noah as well. So I've managed to put together a set on Dofus Creator, and what we're going to do today is just go around purchasing the set, and we'll also do a little bit of maging. And yeah, it should be a very quick episode, sort of like a 2.5 episode, as there won't be any combat at all. So we've got a few pieces already. If we transfer what we've got over into our into our mount, just so we don't get confused. So everything here we don't really need, so we can leave all this on this character. So if we access the mount's inventory, so using the Mad Tofu cloak, we're going to be using the, obviously we have to be using the AP Cocoa ring. It just, 1 AP and 20 agility. The other option would be to use a like a Hichette's ring, I think it's called, or Hichette's ring, which just gives agility. But this one, for instance, just we'll utilise the AP that we have already on that one. For our hat, we're going to use a Kara cap. We've got a nicely Vitality Mage one already. And for our boots, we'll use some Heralder Getter. So we've already got quite a few pieces of a set. And if we do already have it, yes we do, we have a Clume, which is already Vitality Overmaged, and it has a bit of pushback damage on there as well. So we've got 4 pieces of a set currently, so we just need a few more. Now one of the pieces that we need is the, I think it's the Crowblade. Yeah, this gives 10 pushback damage, which is pretty nice, and yeah, it gives some nice agility as well, so we'll definitely look for one of these. I think we could just mage one ourselves, so I'll just buy the cheapest one, and we'll buy 2 of those just so we can crush one. And then for the amulet, I'm trying to think, what amulet have we already got? We've got an Heralder Getter, which I guess is going to be the option for level 62. But for now, we will use the Hachette. Not the belt. Uginak. The Uginak collar, I believe it's called. Yeah, this one. Pretty easy mage, this one. So I'm not going to bother paying stupid money for it when we could just mage one ourselves. And then we've got the ring. So we just need a belt. So belt. What belt have we got already? Let's have a look. Oh, we have actually got a yellow turtle belt, which I think would be better than... Actually, no, it wouldn't. This one does give pushback damage as well, so... we don't need the range, that's the thing. So we can drop the range off this one, just so we can, it should be an easier overmage. So we'll get a few of those. There is the ring as well. Now, the option might be, because this set bonus is 4 pushback damage, so it does give a bit of pushback damage, so we could actually buy a few of those and mage them as well. Aiming for 9 AP, so I don't even think we actually need to utilise the AP EXO, but it is there if we do need to. Okay, so if we go to our inventory, we can put in everything here, and I believe that's for set. So what I'm going to do now is go to the bank, just to make this as easy as possible, because I hate trading stuff over to, because I can't mage on this character basically, so I need to transfer everything over to my main character. So what we're going to do is probably just transfer everything. We can sort everything out, and I think that'll be quite nice and refreshing to sort everything out. First thing we need to do actually is actually delete. Oh god, we need to destroy these items just because they're going to be no use to us, and they'll just clear up the inventory. Okay, right. So let's change character to Karlstrom. In an ideal world, I would love to stick to using my level 200 character, but the sets at the moment are so expensive, and I know I could do a full rebuild. That is the aim of what I'm doing currently with the new Let's Play. I want to be able to sort of go through the game with one character, starting from scratch, and yeah, so then there's no sort of buying our way to the top. It's hard to explain basically, but I understand I've already got quite a few items, but it's nothing major, I don't think, personally. I have played the game for a number of years now. I've given away a lot of stuff. This is obviously just stuff that's accumulated over time, which does obviously equate to a decent amount of money, but it's nothing major in the grand scheme of things. You'd expect me, someone who's played the game for 10 plus years, to, you know, have a ridiculous amount of karmas, for instance, but no, I really don't. So what I wanted to do is use this Let's Play as sort of a guide for newer players who are getting into it, and yeah, I might have a bit more karmas, but that's just to speed up the process and to show you, you know, how you can actually enable yourself going through the game, getting these amazing gear, getting the XP, getting the rewards from, from achievements, etc. Okay, so we've got, oh, that's a bad crow blade. Okay, so we need this one, we need the shit, and what else are we making? The Huguenot collar, I think. Yeah, we've got 2 of those. One little cool thing you can do, which is, it's not very recent, is you can show associated runes. So you don't have to go through your whole bank sort of looking for runes, which is quite nice. So we've already got some pushback runes and a range rune, which is nice. So it just means we don't have to spend as much money. And this one, we've got AP runes, I think, so we can just utilise those. And let's also see if there's anything we can sort of sell. Or not sell, crush while we're here. So amulet. Nothing really. I guess we could crush the this one for the AP rather than purchase the AP. But yeah, let's get straight into maging. I don't want this to be a very overcomplicated episode. Obviously, it is very early game gear we're going to be maging, so it shouldn't be too difficult. But I will go over a few of the basics. Now, I'm not saying I am amazing at maging whatsoever. I have got a bit of experience, and I'm happy to sort of go into it a bit more for newer players who definitely want to get into sort of the idea of maging. It is a very fun mechanic once you get into it, so I highly recommend trying to look into it if you can. So we're just going to crush an item here. We're going to focus it, and what this basically does is when we crush an item in the, in the crusher, we're focusing one specific stat in the item. If we were to put no focus, we would get a variation of all different runes, but because we just want AP, what it does, it basically collects all the sync in the item, so vitality, water resistance, air resistance, and summon, and it collectively puts that into the AP sync, and that gives us a better roll and a better chance of getting some AP runes. So there you go, we got 74% of getting an AP rune there, so we was very lucky. Obviously it is, there was 26% chance we weren't going to get an AP rune, so you can see it as it saves us a bit of money because AP runes at the moment are quite expensive. In the grand scheme of things, 36k for one isn't too bad, but when you are purchasing quite a few, it does add up. Okay, so let's start off with the amulet because that'll be the easiest one to mage. Actually, we can just shatter the dupes that we have. So we'll shatter this, we'll shatter this. We'll also shatter this, even though it'll probably give us nothing. Yeah. So as you can see, these items are crushed quite frequently, which is why I'm a multiplier. So this is a global multiplier, and this is based off how many times this item has specifically been shattered for its runes, basically. And this is a global counter, which accounts for every single person in the server sort of crushing the item. Okay, so we want to get perfect agility, we want to overmage vitality, so we really need to drop the AP. Now what I mean by dropping the AP is basically we need to get the AP to fall off. As you can see there, the vitality has fallen off. And what they've done in recent years is, we need some vitality runes, is they've actually added the density of a sync value of an item in-game, which is brilliant for us because you don't have to be looking at something on another screen or having another tab open. So it is really useful now, and it does definitely help people who are getting into maging. So here I'm going to buy some vitality runes. These are your basic, one, as you can see on the left hand side there. I can't really, if I pin it, there we go. So the density here, that is the sync value. So this sync value is 1, which is, I believe, the lowest, if not one of the lowest sync values in the game. And something, for instance, like a AP rune, as you can see, has 100 density or sync value. So when you're going into sort of AP exoing, which is exoing is essentially putting a stat on an item that shouldn't or is never really on there, you have a 1 in that chance. So for instance, if we were to AP mage an item, we would have a 1 in 100 chance. And if it was to be something like a push dam rune, for instance, we'd have a higher chance basically to obviously land it, but it is technically a weaker rune. Anyways, I won't try to overcomplicate it as much, so we're just going to buy some vitality runes. We're going to need a few of these, so I'll buy a few. Good thing is with these lower runes is you can combine them into stronger variants in the crusher. So if we go combine resources here, we can put on only display recipes I can craft. And as you can see here, it kind of shows you what you can already craft. So Pa Vi, which is the second installment of the vitality rune. As you can see, it's worth a bit more in sync value. And we're just going to craft, we can currently craft 167, but I'm going to craft around 67. Oh, not 167, 67. And then it should come up with another variant of that rune, which is this one, which is the Ra Vi rune, which is a lot stronger. As you can see, density is 10, so that means it's less likely to land. On items like the ones we're going to be maging today, you don't necessarily need to be using Ra Vi because they're so strong on their sync value that you're not going to get the most for your money. My personal recommendation is to use 5s, so regular vitality runes up until about 95, 100. You can surpass that and go a bit further, but it is all down to RNG as well. So we've got a nice healthy amount of runes here. So because this vitality rune is worth 1 sync, it's going to be very easy for us to land it every time. Same with the Agi rune as well. So what we need to be doing is just keep doing this for however long it takes, basically, in order for us to drop the AP. Now we can speed this process up by, as I mentioned earlier, exoing, which is essentially putting a stat onto this item which doesn't belong on there. Or we can go for a higher dense rune, which is, for instance, in this case, a Ra Wiz or a Pa Wiz. Down at the bottom there underneath density, you can see 3, 9 and 30. So if we was to put on one of these, if it was to be successful, it would just throw the stat point on there and we would not lose anything. However, if we weren't successful, what it's going to do is take into account the amount that this item is worth, which is 9, and it is going to accumulate that 9 and break it down into an equal amount. So for instance, it could take off 3 Pa Vi's, which would be a total of 45 vitality, or it could take off 15 vitality, which would be 3 density, and then it could also take off 6 agility, which would be 6 density, which equates to 9. So as you can see there, we lost 10 in total, and we actually managed to land it, but then we did also lose for stats. It is heavily RNG focused. I would definitely just have a little play about with it. There is the advanced mode, which basically just allows you to do a one click. If you don't have advanced mode on, you need to double click and then combine. So when you do get a bit more used to it, just having a little click and going through it is the way to go. When you're starting off maging as well, I would definitely focus on sort of maging your, adventure set items, or your gobble items, or even your boon set, just to get you a bit of an advantage when it comes to PVM. Because the more vitality you have, the longer you survive. But never forget about your damaging stats, such as agility, strength, intelligence, or chance. Wisdom is just something that I don't really need on this specific character because I am times 4 XP. So having -10 is not going to make a massive difference for me personally. Right, what we'll try is drop in... There we go. So -1 AP plus sync. So he was very lucky there actually, so we didn't lose any sync. Now what it means is if we was to get a minus sync, we would have lost 30 sync. Now, I can't really bring up a calculator, so what I'll do is... I mean, I could bring one up, but you guys won't be able to see it. So in the bottom of the chat here, when I'm typing, you can see here. So this item is worth 100 sync. Now, if we were to, have a minus sync in this little column here, we would lose 30, which would leave us with 70. Now that means we have a total of 70 sync to work with. So we would use that 70 sync, divide 70 by how much sync we want to use, whether it be vitality or agility, etc. And then that leaves us with the remaining sync, which would be to put the AP on. So we've got 100 sync. I always go a bit lower just to be safe, so I'm going to say we have 99 sync. This is a very easy item to mage, so I'm not really going to be too focused. So for instance, this item is worth 3 sync, and this one is worth 1. So for this one, we're going to take away 39, and we're going to put in 39 of these runes. Yeah. So that leaves us with 60. So we can combine all. As you can see, nothing else is dropping. And that's because we've lost the high value rune on this item that it's allowing us to actually put these stats on itself. Okay, so we've got 60 left, and we're actually pretty high in vitality. Now this doesn't mean the item's fixed. We still need to hit the AP, which is a 50-50 chance. Because the AP is already on this rune, it's not counting as an exo, it's just counting as sticking the rune back on there. So it's a 50-50 chance. It's very RNG, as I said earlier. So for instance, this one, we can actually put on 20, because 20 times 3 is 60. But just for sake of it, I've not done this in a long time. So if I'm completely wrong, I am very sorry. However, the maths clearly should work. I'm a bit unsure about the plus sync with the minus 30 there, so I don't know whether to just try 10 of these. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. I don't think I want to push it any further. If I am wrong, please just let me know, guys. Like, I haven't done this for years, so I'm just trying to sort of get around the basic mechanics, and if I am wrong, I do apologise once more. Let's go for 50-50 chance. Okay, so we failed that, but we didn't lose anything. So we have another 50-50 chance here. And we landed it. So that's a really good mage. We've got perfect agility. We've got a plus 140 over maged in the vitality sector. So couldn't be more happy with that. Very lucky, very fortunate. This one, for instance, we don't really care about dodge. Crit is always nice. Wisdom we don't really care about, so we're just going to go for a XO on this one. So to get an XO, we need to lose a high value rune. The high value runes in this item is going to be your wisdom and your critical. As you can see, crit is worth 10 density, so it's going to be quite hard for us to maintain 3. But if we get a few lucky rolls, like so, we might be in good fortune here. So I'm tempted to go pushback. However, I think vitality is the way to go for us. So let's put on a few vitality runes and see if they land. Okay, we lost an air damage. So what I'm trying to do is, if I lose 1 stat point when exoing, that's fine with me, because I have a 50-50 chance of landing that stat point. Now, I don't care about dodge and I don't care about wisdom, so when I'm going to put on this vitality, if I lose dodge or wisdom, I'm just going to continue, as we see there. Okay, we've lost agility, we've lost wisdom, we've got 50, so I just want to really land this air damage rune, and this is fine for me. Okay, we lost 26 vitality. Okay, we need to really put on this power. Oh, we failed it. Unfortunate. Okay, we lost the wisdom again, that's good. 1 agility is fine, 1 agility is fine. Oh. Okay, back to square one. We're losing the wisdom now. Okay, we've lost all wisdom. We lost an air damage. We just need 50. Come on. Okay, nice. Happy with that. Really happy with that. I don't want to spend too much money on these items because they are very low level. But yeah, you can, go absolutely crazy with these if you want to get into transcendence runes. Like, they're a really good thing to get into, but they're just so expensive, and I think for items this level you don't really need to be spending so much money on them. Okay, so this one we've got a range which is worth 51 sync, so we don't need range, which is very unique because usually you do need range, but for an item, for a character such as the Forge Lance, we don't actually gain anything from having range. So we really just want to try drop the range off. Now, when we drop a specific characteristic off an item, we can do what we call a focus. Now, when we do a focus, what we're basically doing is using a. So if we were to overmage this vitality, for instance, it's overmaged by 3. Now, 3 vitality is worth 3 sync. So if I was to put on, say, a part agi, it would take away 15. And what that basically is doing is it's going into the other variant of the vitality and comparing that with the same density rune as the agi. I know that sounds confusing, but hopefully you understand. As you can see there, I did the exact same thing again. I swapped a par vi for a par agi, so it works hand in hand. Because this one is overmaged, if I was to use a regular agi rune, it will drop vitality by 5 every single time, because the regular vi is worth 1 sync as well. I'm hoping that makes sense. I'm trying not to overcomplicate it, because I can understand it does seem very overcomplicated, but once you get into it, it's really not. A lot of people just throw runes on and hope for the best, and that's completely fine too. But for somebody who wants to kind of, utilise the money effectively, this is a good way to go about it. Okay, so we just need that range to drop off, and we should be good to go. Oh, we leveled up, that's nice. This is good for my Magus as well, because I haven't actually leveled these Shoe Magus up much. Okay. So I am just throwing on random runes. Oh, there we go. So we lost the range, and we lost it with a pushback. So when we lose it with an item, you have to basically remove the sync value of that specific item with the value of the item that's been lost. So here, for instance, we've got a 5 sync value item, and we've lost 51 sync. So we would do 51 take away 5. Now this is where I get confused personally. In my experience, plus sync basically means that this minus 5 never happened. If this was to say minus sync, we would actually lose that 5 sync. So For the basis of just being safe, I'm actually going to go with, let's say we lost 5 sync. So we've got 46 sync left in this item. If we was to go over that, we would start losing more stats. So 46 sync means we can do 1. So we've lost 1 there. As you can see at the bottom left, minus sync, so we lose -1 because 1 agi is worth 1. We've lost another 1, so that's 2. And we've lost another, so that's 3. So we've lost -3 sync, which leaves us with 43. So now we've got 43 sync, we've got what we want, we've got pushback, agility, we just need to focus vitality. So we can actually just throw in 43 of these if we really wanted to. But for the sake of maths, what I'm going to do is do 13. So we're going to take away 13, and we're going to put 13 of these in. We're going to combine all them, and that leaves us with 30 sync. And that means we can put in 10 of the Parvais because the Parvai is worth 3. So we put in 10 of those, and we just combine all them. And there you go. So that's a very, if I was to want range now and I could try land it, that's a, you know, a 50-50 chance again. Same with the AP that we did earlier. But just for the sake of not having that 50-50 chance, we're not going to do that. And then final item is the Crow Blade, which is Smith Mage, I believe. I think I can mage it. Oh no, I can't. I'm level 20. Ooh, that's a big oof. Okay, so how many minutes are we in? 26 minutes. That's not too bad. We will quickly just get our Smith Magus up to the level we need. It shouldn't take too long. Obviously, it's going to cost us a bit of money. What level is Crowblade? Is it 60? 45. Okay, that's not too bad at all then. So if we look for level 20, and we go into weapon categories, we can look at axes, daggers, hammers, lances if we really want. We want to get the highest level one we can get. And we want to look for sync value. So for instance, Gobble Hammer has summon. And it's really, really cheap. So we'll buy a few of those. And then I'm going to focus on level 30. And let's just do 30 to 30. So it's only a level 30 item. We can see here, this one's also a summon. And that's really cheap. So summon is a nice sync value to level up your stats with. When an item is put on, when a characteristic is put onto an item, I should say stat, not characteristic, that's my bad. When a stat is put onto an item, obviously it accounts for that sync value, and that sync value is going to give you more XP, the more the sync is worth. So a lot of people go for summons, and a lot of people go for critical, and also just flat damage. And let's have a look, is there any... How much is that? 9k. And that's got a range on there. Have we got any range runes? We've got 14 range runes, to be honest, so let's just buy one of those. Heals. Heals is really good as well because heal runes are really cheap. We've got flat air damage, and then we'll also buy the Gobcool Hammer too. Okay, that should get us to level 45 relatively quick. Let's go to the Rune Marketplace. But yeah, don't come into Rune Maging thinking you're not going to spend any money. You actually will be spending a bit of money because it, as I will keep saying, it is RNG dependent. If you land an APX on your first try, that's a really fortunate situation. There we go. So we don't need to focus these. Oh wow, people crush these all the time. And the same with that. Wow, okay. So it looks like we're going to have to buy runes, which isn't a massive issue. We probably do have some in the bank, but just for the sake of the video, I will buy some. Summon runes, let's just buy. We've got 56. Okay, that should be enough. Smith Mage. A nice little tip as well. If you right click on your XP gauge, you can do a custom gauge. And on here you can change it to anything you want. So because we're doing Smith Magus, we'll change it to Smith Magus, and we can just see at the bottom how fast our XP is going up. So we really want to drop off the summon. But because a summon is worth 30 sync, you can realistically have 2 summons on an item. And as you can see, we get a crazy amount of XP from that. And every time we put one on and try put another one on, it usually is going to take that summon off. So this is a really fast way of just sort of leveling up. Obviously it can be quite costly, but for the, again, for the sake of the video and the time, hopefully this does help and show, a nice strategic way of sort of leveling up. Okay, I'm getting a bit carried away there. So we need level 30, it seems, for our next item. But yeah, there you go. So level 20 to 30 in a matter of seconds. This one, again, summons again, but because it's a higher level item, we will get more XP. Oh wow, we actually just exoed a summon on there, so it had 2 summons. I do apologise about that. Right, so we're level 34. We just need one more level. But yeah, I can't believe that. We actually got an exo summon. Now this one we've got range. Range is worth 51, so this will give us a lot more XP. But because range is worth 51, you can never have 2 range on an item, because it would go over 100, which is the max amount of sync. So for instance, you can't have 2 AP on an item because the sync value is worth 100. But if an item equates to 100, because that is like, if you think of a circle, the circle that's full is 100, that's going to be an AP rune. A range rune is 51% of that circle, so you can't have 2 of them range. So we need to really drop the range. So an easy way to drop range would be to add in a high cost item in the sync value. So for instance, let's do this one. Actually no, we need that, so let's just do fire damage because we don't really need it. As you can see, we dropped the range and we put it straight back on. Again, 50-50 chance. So it's very easy. And we dropped it again. And then we're going up to 37. And we should drop it again pretty easily. And that's 39. What level do we need? 41. Okay, so 2 more levels and we're good to go. I'm getting quite lucky on this. 6 fire damage, wow. And that's 40. So we just really need to drop it about 2 more times and we should be good. Earth damage. Wow, it doesn't want to come off here. Okay, that's it. That should be 41. Nice. So now we're on to our trusty hammer. And this one should be very easy to do. We'll just put on some resistance runes. Obviously, I'm not really being conscious of money here. If I was, I would be using vitality runes and sort of maging it to a good standard. But just because I want to get some quick levels, I'm not really too fussed. Okay, 44, so 1 more level. Come on, we need to drop that summon. There we go, 45, so that's perfect. And now we can start maging the item we were meant to be maging. So we don't really care about neutral damage. Dodge, we don't really care about. Agility we do, and vitality we do. So I'm trying to think, what can we... Let's try go for a few 15s. Let's try 50. Okay, okay. Anything over 100 I'm pretty happy with. 103. Oh, that was very unlucky. Getting a bit cocky now. Yeah, that was really unlucky. So I just tried the 50-50 chance of landing the agility, but because I was overmaged, it dropped all the stats, and we've got no crits left either. Oh god, I should have just kept it at 100. Let's get a few more crit runes. Won't spend too long on this one, but we'll basically finish this item off, and then we'll transfer them all back over to our character, and then we'll equip it, and we'll see how much stronger we are. Smith Mage. I feel like it's been a very productive episode. Obviously, a bit different, but hopefully you've learned a thing or two from this. Again, I definitely am. I'm not the best at maging at all. Okay, let's try 50. Ooh, that was bad. Maybe if we use an orb. So these orbs are basically they're really cheap, and if you want to save a few karmas, these are definitely the things to use. These orbs are very, they're just in the rune marketplace, and anything of that level or under, so this one's a minor new leaf orb, which is a level 60 item, so it means that anything that's level 60 or under, if we was to use this, it reinitializes the effects of an item with a level equal to or less than 60. So it basically just puts on the min or max. It can put on any of these stats in between, and it saves you a lot of money in the long run, for definite. So neutral damage we don't really need. Okay, this is looking a bit better. We just need to be quite lucky. Now, with an item such as this, a really good way to do it would be to exo, so throw on something with high sync, such as a range, and then drop that range off, and that would give you the value of the range rune in sync value, which makes it a lot easier to mage items like this. However, getting that range rune to land with all these stats staying the same, that's the hard part. So that's why I'm not going down that route. Okay, we're losing a lot of stats here. We need to keep the air damage up. And we are getting quite a few levels from this, which is nice. Okay, if we drop one agility, that's good. We really do need the 10 pushback. Oh god, items like this just really get on my nerves. Because we're wanting to keep the crit, the air damage, the pushback damage, the agility, like it's a lot to keep, especially when there's no sync to work with. To be honest, I might just leave it at quite a low mage, just for the sake of the video. Ooh, we did lose a crit there, which was nice. Right, you know what? We'll keep it for that for now. Off camera, I definitely will look into sort of maging it again. But I'd really just want to throw these items onto Vazrik and see how he can perform with them. Only I could make a video that's 40 minutes long, maging 4 items. That's ridiculous. Okay, so I'm happy with the mages we've done. I think it's a massive improvement. So we've got the ring, the amulet, and the belt. We'll throw the money back in there as well. Okay. So let's get back all of our items that we need. Oh, we've kept it in our mount, I've just remembered. I think we have anyways. So it's really useful actually. So we need the belt, the amulet, we need the ring, and then we need the blade, which is here. Okay, nice. So if we go back into our mount, we can have a look at our inventory. Yep. Oh, I kept 2 of the belts in there. That's so annoying. Right, let's equip this set. If you did watch last video, you can see that I did actually purchase a different type of set, which was the Albuerian Trapper set, which is a dedicated set for Forge Lancers, I believe. Now, it is a brilliant set, don't get me wrong, and it did cost me a lot of money. And it was a bit of fun to play about with, but yeah, I don't really need it, unfortunately. It's nice to have it, don't get me wrong. Right, we need our Tofrazzle pet. Okay, and then for our... Oh my god, do I need to go in the bank again? This is costing me an absolute fortune. I should really just get everything out. Trophies. Let's transfer all the trophies. Dofus sayers. We'll just need the cowet. What else is there we need? We need the clume, I think. Unless we have it. Yes, we have it already. That's fine. Let's take out all the gelanos, because I actually don't know. We've got quite a few gelanos. Okay. So we swap this one out for the clume. We need our pushback ones on, so we need the minor repellent and the fella. So these runes in total give us 32 plus 8, so 40 pushback just in... Oh, not runes, trophies. These trophies give us a really decent amount. Stunter and Air Destroyer. Okay. So the set's looking pretty good, I can't lie. 1.4k. Let's now reimburse our stats. If we was to do that, 568. Okay. But there is one thing we need to do. And I've been putting this off for 2 episodes now because I didn't have enough money. And this is a very expensive sort of mid to late game thing, which is to scroll. Now scrolling is really beneficial as it allows you to get 100 characteristic points in that specific stat. So what I'm going to do is just do this in the most cost efficient way possible, which is to buy 25 small, sorry. So 25 small. We skip the greats and we buy 25 agility, just regular agility. And then we buy 25 powerful. And this is realistically the most cost efficient way. Obviously you can go fight all the Dopploons and get these yourself, but it will take you a long period of time. And that cost us just over $1 mil, I believe. Yeah, just over $1 mil. So it is costly, but I think personally it is very beneficial. So if you do have a bit of spare change lying about and you are one element, for instance, definitely go ahead and purchase that. One thing I have noticed is they've actually made it so it shows up as an additional, as you can see when I input a characteristic point, 197 plus 6, 197 plus 7. So it's an additional thing now, whereas before it would just all become the same sort of equation. But yeah, so I've put it in my hotbar because obviously we'll be clicking quite a lot, and I just press for number 1 on my keyboard just to make us access them a lot quicker. You can't multiple use them, which is annoying, but I don't know if that's because of botting mechanics or whatnot, I have no idea. But if you do click 1 too many times, you will be logged out, as the game thinks you're a bot for some reason. So I just do it at a very steady pace, just because I don't want to be logged out. And basically we've got 50 agility, but the powerful ones give you 2. So that's why we skip the great ones and we buy the powerfuls. Now, this has been the way to do it for years now, so on my understanding it is cheaper to do it this way. There we go. Okay, so we've got pretty decent agility. The only thing we could probably do now is actually level our pet to level 100, which is going to be very expensive. That would only give us an extra 14 agility, so I don't think personally it's worth us doing. I've got a silver Dofus on still, which I probably would swap for Cowart. But yeah, anyways, let's go through these set and let's do a fight at the pouch. 1.3k HP, not too bad. Obviously I can swap some of my stats into vitality from being pure agility, but I just want to go pure damage at the moment and see how much we do. God, it's very laggy. Okay, so let's go see this pouch and see what our damage is like. And we are 9 and 6, that's something to keep in mind. And let's quickly look at our stats on advanced stats tab. So 9 and 6, 0 range, 6 crit, nothing too major there, 11 air damage. We've got 153 pushback, which is amazing for this level, like it's really good. And that's literally it. We've got a -3 range resistance, which isn't too difficult, isn't too bad for us because we do want to be close to our enemies at all times. But yeah, let's see how much damage we're dealing. So our standard attack does 141, but if we were to push that target back, it goes from 141 to 248, and we can do that twice. Now, personally, that's really not bad. If we was to utilize this in an actual turn, so let's pass this turn and then pass the next turn, so we've got our last spells. So enemies against the wall, what we can do is javelin twice, so 248, 294, and then we can heroic charge. So right there, 250, 300, 350. Pretty decent damage, I must say. Like, that is really good for a level 60. And we've still got our lance in hand, which is really nice because it means we take less damage. Brass volley, again, nice little AoE spell which pushes back. The only thing we really need now is probably release, which is a very cheap spell. And that's just a basic pushback spell. But yeah, there we go. We've got a nice little set for our continuing future. I have no idea when we'll upgrade this set. Probably around level 80, level 90. So it is going to be around for 20 or so levels. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you took something from this. I really appreciate the support. It's nice to be back. It's nice to be doing this. And let's keep this going. I'm more than happy to do so. And I really want to explore the content in the realm of, in the world of 12, basically. You know, I want to get all these quests done. I want to follow the storyline. But if that's something that you guys want to see as well, please do let me know. And it's been a pleasure, and take care.